You have your headset on.
Hey everybody, we're live now. I'm here with Jenna Powell, my wife and head of operations, and also artist, and about to be writer. The reason she's here is we're here to talk about Dual Identity, which we will be co-writing beginning with issue 3. But we'll talk a bit about that in just a minute. Just want to let people kind of come in while we say hello. We've got a lot of stuff. I'm going to try and, this is going to be very jam-packed. So please try and stick with it throughout. You guys are going to find out a lot of information about the character, about the series, about what's coming up. This is perhaps the most integral series related to White Widow in the Absolute Universe. So there's a reason why it was really the first to cross over, and that is because the people who created what we call the series is called Dual Identity. The character's name is either Artemis or Andromeda, and we'll explain that in a second. But they're called the organization behind them is called The Group, and that's the same organization that White Widow's parents both worked for in their R&D, and so they are responsible. The group is responsible for creating both White Widow and Dual Identity. Although they are both nanotech powered, they are vastly different in many ways. So we'll get into that in just a minute. I see a lot of people have now joined us, so we'll just kind of jump into this. White Widow's first technical appearance was first in a kind of a one-shot zero issue we had done for Free Comic Book Days, dating all the way back to, I think it was 2016, 2015, 2016, somewhere in there.
A while ago.
Yeah. And it was written by Elaine Lee. We regrouped, did different artwork and stuff like that to then launch issue 1. And so this character predates White Widow by a number of years. But it is, like I said, as we were creating White Widow, we wanted White Widow to be part of something bigger and integral. So this was the very first obvious way of connecting that, because I'm a big fan of nanotechnology, what it offers, what it can do, and kind of just looking at the sci-fi edge of what is that. There was a small bit with Dual Identity in a cameo in a series called Markiplier #2, which did kind of come out, but it's available. It never actually shipped to stores. So that is now available to stores. We also have that as part of a set in our Dragon Con store, which if you take a look at the Dragon Con store, one of the things that you'll see is that we have a lot of items that you can only get on that Dragon Con store. I'm going to put the link for that in the comments. So as we're talking, if you guys want to check that out, there's the store right there. And for as I was mentioning, the Markiplier set, it is part of a bundle, and that's just because we don't have a whole lot of them available to us. So if you are interested, here is the Markiplier bundle. We also have them in our Shopify store, so if you miss them here, but these are a good set price. Now, Dual Identity made in the White Widow in the proper her first Absolute Comics group appearance was actually in White Widow number 2.5, which was an Acme Comics exclusive. You can still find that. That is available through YouTube. We don't have, I think we have what, 2 copies or something like that. Like 2 or 3 copies is
for
all.
the archive.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That's it. So we don't even have copies of that available to sell, but we included it in the extended edition. So if you have the number 2 extended edition, which is the reprint edition, you do have the first cameo appearance of Andromeda, who is one half of Dual Identity. So getting into kind of the story and explaining who Dual Identity is, because not everyone knows or has seen that. Dual Identity is, imagine that you have like Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman, character, except she's a half alien daughter of an alien princess that came to Earth to try and save us, who got captured at Area 51 and type of thing. A guard fell in love with her, helped her escape, and she was pregnant, but she escaped, had the baby, and died. The baby was raised among humans and in secret, and found out that she had all these superpowers and stuff. Very kind of mix of what you would think of the standard Superman, Wonder Woman, kind of some of those tropes. And she's here to be, as she is the official first superhero known in the Absolute universe with White Widow. Except that's all a lie. It's it's a big ruse. The reality is she was a super spy who was enhanced by these nanotech nanites, and so that's where she gets all of her abilities from. And she was exposed on film by a camera crew that was following this conference, and clearly using abilities. And so, her cover's blown. That's what happens that's the story that happens. Sorry, small spoiler here. In Dual Identity number 1. So Dual Identity number 1, this is the A cover. I believe it's pretty much sold out in stores. Your store may be able to order. There are a few copies available. We did 3 covers. We have A cover, which is by Ruiz. He's one of the painters we've worked with. Then we've got a B cover with foil. This is by Brandon Peterson. These were out. Oh, someone just asked, when does it come out? So Dual Identity came out July 4th weekend, or week. So these were out. They are also available on the Dragon Con store. So if your store happened to miss it. And then this is the C cover. This is by Jamie Tyndall, also foil. So we do
White Widow variant.
Right. This is the White Widow variant. And what we mean by White Widow variants is we wanted to show on the C covers for the issue 1s that many of them that it is connected to the White Widow universe. So we kind of put a little Easter egg way back here in the background. You can see White Widow hanging out. So these are fun collectibles. I believe they're pretty much sold out in stores, but we do have some available in the Shopify store. You just need if you want to skip right to it on the, not Shopify, on the Dragon Con store, which is the Eventany link. So you can click on that, go to the White Widow universe, and you'll be able to see all of those are available. Now, Those issue 2 then, which is on its way. It's actually at the printer, so it should arrive in stores, hopefully, fingers crossed, sometime this month. So issue 2 picks up immediately, like nanoseconds after the end of issue 1, and it goes through talking about what happened. So her cover's blown, and so the spin doctors go into effect. They don't want to just kill her. Instead, the spin doctors go into effect, and they decide to create a lie so big everyone would have to accept it. So they came up with this backstory of her being an alien and half alien, excuse me, and superhero here to save the day. And the world eats it up. I mean, who wouldn't? You know, obviously, here's as someone with superpowers. You know, with the right spin doctor, everyone would just be all in. So that's the basic premise for the character, is summed up in the first 2 issues. And here, let me show you the covers. This is the issue 2A cover. Again, this will be available at your retailer. Your retailer does have time right now to go order it if they haven't yet. So, and we always do try and suggest people to go to support their local comic shop. And then this is the B cover. I call this the I Make Boys Cry cover. Like how we had the hidden White Widow, we have these watermarked I Make Boys Cry symbols hiding in the background to signify that this is also coinciding with the launch of I Make Boys Cry, which is another one of our series. That series, by the way, ties in to Duel Identity, because the group that funds and backs Duel Identity, which, by the way, her spy name, I should explain, is Artemis, and her superhero name is Andromeda. So someone obviously there likes Greek myths. So, but that group, which is kind of a contract pseudo government organization, black ops organization, that contracts out, is often at odds and competing with the organization behind I Make Boys Cry. So that's kind of the tie in there. So, and we'll explain more on that. So, issue 3 then we'll pick up in a second. It's going to be the one that Jenna and I are going to talk about. Now, the events in issue 1 and issue 2 of Duel Identity take place before the events in White Widow, although White Widow came out first. So just to completely confuse everybody. White Widow number 3 is when White Widow goes to the masquerade ball and she meets Andromeda, this superhero that's come out looking for some help to try and infiltrate the group's headquarters. She doesn't realize, obviously, that Andromeda is working working for the group, and that she's their top agent. So she has a handler codenamed Cicero, who in her ear tells her to accept and to say that she's going to help her out. But as you see at the end of issue 3, it's not Andromeda that shows up, but instead Artemis. And issue 4 is called Knockout. If you haven't read it yet, it is a massive barroom type brawl. And what we do have,
basically the entire issue is a battle.
Yeah, almost. Cover. But one of the things that I like to do when we're writing battles is it also serves the story. It's not just eye candy. It certainly it's showing. You get to see in issue 4 who White Widow is and who she wants to be as she's doing battle, as well as we illustrate that White Widow's new to this. what does she do when she comes up against someone similarly powered or even more powerful than her in some respects? And what happens is quite fun. We do have in our store issue 3s and issue 4s in the Dragon Con store. However, I do want to point out that something that may have been missed. So we have retailers a lot of times do exclusive covers with us. So what we try to do is we get copies of those exclusive covers, and out for Jenna and my personal collection, which a few amount, which we are making some of those available in the Dragon Con store. So, and these are most of them, I believe, are sold out with the retailers. So here is one that's highly sought after by Sun Kamanazaki, I believe is how she pronounces it. It is a metallic ink cover. So that is available in the online store. We've got these are sold out as well. These were by Nowhere Comics. They were New York Comic Con variants by Greg Horn. We have the Trade and the Virgin. We have a few of those. We have the Nowhere Jamie Tyndall cover. This was also a New York Comic Con variant. We have the, I think his name's Silent Partner was the name. It's the Carnage variants by Eduardo Francesco. We've got the Virgin and the Trade Edition. And we've got 5 of the variants by Natalie Sanders.
Yes.
So we've got the metallic ink as well as the 5 other colors, both light and dark, trade and non-trade. We do have a few left of the Chris Enott number 3 variants, and just a few left of there were 3 versions, white, silver, and gold of the Adam Hughes homage cover for Zap Comics. So those are available in the store.
Isn't one of them an incentive or more rare than the others?
Oh, they're all fairly rare, but are you talking about for the Zap? Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is the most rare. I believe that one's the most rare. This is the most available, and this is kind of a medium rarity. So that, and the price reflects that. Issue 4, we do have a lot of those available, but the Sun is the only issue 4 that we actually have of those as specials. But we do have, just to show some of the kind of cool ones we have for issue 4 in the Dragon, just so you can kind of catch up on the story and get some stuff. This is what the metallic ink Jamie Tyndall version looks like. This is the Chris Enott, one of the cosplay metallic inks. The other cosplay metallic ink, you can see it's very shiny. And we do have a few, it's very rare for us to have any metals. We have like the Nathan Zerdy metal, the Zombie Tramp Dan Mendoza metal, the Ace Continuado metal, and we have this one's sold out. This is the St. Patrick's Day Bill McKay. So those are some rare ones that are not available on our store. These are, again, our copies. Also, to kind of show you guys, this is more me going, hey, I did a cover. I did a 4-part connected cover that it's obviously really hard to see because I don't have 4 hands. But they were 4 parts that kind of can see they connect that way. So you got 3 foil and 1 virgin. So those are available in the store. And I also did my only holiday cover. I did an Easter trade edition and a metal edition. I believe the metal sold out in the store, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, so and then we also have the Easter bundle. So Jenna also has some issue 3s. If you want to show those real quick.
Well, no. Why don't we go over and talk about the issue?
Okay.
I think it's kind of boring looking at past covers when this is about Duel Identity.
Well, those are the ones where she crosses over. So,
yep.
Now, as far as issue 3, what's coming up in issue 3 is we've got. This is going to be the issue where, and this is why I was showing all of that as well, is it's the flip side. This is the A cover, by the way, and then the B cover illustrates it a little bit better. This is the same battle that took place in White Widow and numbers 3 and 4, that whole meeting. But I wanted to show, instead of from White Widow's perspective, show what was going on with Artemis Andromeda's perspective. So this will be coming out in December. So this is the B cover. It'll be the foil cover. This is my art. I did a thing. And then we've got a C cover, which is a lenticular by Genzo Man. So it will animate between each of these. So it's one cover, but as you move it, it will animate between those. Obviously made sense to be able to do that for that character. All 3 of those will be available through your retailer, so be sure to order them. Let's see. One of the things we wanted to talk about is kind of White Widow versus Duel Identity. A lot of people wonder, they're both nanotech and stuff. Why is Andromeda / Artemis so much more powerful? And that has to do with some stuff that we'll learn a little bit more about. But at its heart, Andromeda / Artemis was the first successful test subject to ever survive getting nanotech. She was raised by the group from the time she was a tween all the way up until now. She's in her early 20s. She's insanely strong, where White Widow could lift maybe 10 tons without using her webs. I mean, technically, White Widow could use her webs and lift practically infinite amounts. Andromeda is 10 times stronger than her physically. She's faster than White Widow, but and she can fly. That's one of the other things. She's also very, very hardy, and she heals even faster than White Widow does. So in many ways, physically, she's more powerful to a much higher degree because she was infused with far more bonding of the nanites, which is why so many of the test subjects died. Meanwhile, White Widow is instead the nanites are less affecting her physically on her physical attributes, more it's enhancing her already present spider DNA from the White Widow spider to create nanotech infused spider silk. And not a lot of people, we say this in issue 2, but if you had spider silk, pure spider silk, the size of the thickness of a pencil or pen, they say that it could stop a Boeing 747 in flight, which is one of the most powerful substances on the planet. And imagine that being infused by nanotech that you can control with your mind. So there's a lot more creativity in what she can do and how she can act and react and things. Right now, a lot of it is she's kind of, White Widow is reacting and going based on instinct. Meanwhile, Andromeda, since she was a kid, has been training to be this perfect warrior. So that's the difference between the two. And I wanted to illustrate that training does matter, which leads us into issue 5 of White Widow and issue 1 of I Make Boys Cry perfectly. So can't wait for you. Those are at the printer, so you guys will be getting those issues soon. Now, the reason I wanted to bring, first off, the first 2 issues were written by Elaine Lee. I created the series, but I had Elaine Lee come in initially. And the reason why I wanted to co-write with Jenna moving forward is because the series is very, very important to me to have a woman's perspective. A joke. The joke is that Jenna is the template, the female template for White Widow, and in a lot of ways, personality-wise, she is. And Jenna, as the editor, is always kind of a soundboard for White Widow to see, is this how a woman would act or react and things like that. So I get the female perspective on that, but I wanted Jenna to co-write this series with me because Duel Identity, more than any other series, is kind of an allegory for the female condition. I always thought it was interesting that women are being torn into 2 different directions. You got to be strong and independent, but you're supposed to be vulnerable and part of a relationship. You need to be you need to have a career, but also a mother and a home. You've got all these conflicting things that so many women face, that they've got these dueling identities that they're having to try and reconcile. So I thought, what if you had a series that really encapsulated that through superheroics, where you've got this girl that's been trained since she was a kid to be a stone cold killer in that environment, and she excels at it, suddenly being forced to pretend to be like a goody-goody superhero. Those 2 personalities don't exactly mesh. So how can we get those identities? And so I wanted the woman's perspective to a degree. So if you want to speak a little about how you feel on the series.
So basically, she's going to have to combat with herself. Like, she has to be this superhero, and she actually enjoys it. So now she's trying to that battle with herself. Like, am I really good inside, or is she really evil? Or not really evil, but stone cold killer.
The ends justify the means.
Right. So she's trying to figure out what kind of person she really is, as well as everything that goes on with her in the group.
Yeah. The group has been her family, everything she knows for most of her life. ever since she was. But if you pick up the first two issues, you can see that she's not exactly like this true believer in what they do. And the other interesting thing is it's already kind of started is, you know, how does she have a relationship? Can she have a relationship? How would she navigate that? Will You've got two potential love interests. You've got one guy who's this hacktivist, who kind of
a bad boy.
bad boy appeals to her
Or Artemis side.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, they've got this billionaire, super goody goody philanthropist guy who, for optics reasons, is the perfect person for Andromeda to date. So, and he's a really good, genuinely good guy. So, you know, how she's going to act and react in that very weird love triangle. What is it, a square? You know, what it like, who, you know, I think you said it earlier, that she's trying to find out who she really is.
Yep.
You know, as most women and adults do. That's kind of a common theme that she shares in essence with White Widow, which is why White Widow almost instantly sees this kind of kinship to her. It kind of made us a little sad that she betrays her to a degree. And so I think that was why we also wanted for issue 3 of Dual Identity to showcase who Andromeda is and what she was thinking during this battle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, we're going to also see that Andromeda feels like some friends of hers were murdered by White Widow as well. So she's not a bad person at all. She does the dirty deeds, you know, that sometimes need doing, as I say. But again, who's the judge? So she's not ever been the judge before. She's the executioner. So now she's in the limelight a lot, and she's got to try to kind of reconcile that. So, let's see. Someone just posted a question. It'd be interesting to see a crossover between Dual Identity and Wayward Sons, like a real deal versus fake. Well, we will be having more and more crossovers. As we showed yesterday morning, First Defense runs into Pulse, who Pulse, remember, works with Dual Identity. In fact, Pulse was created as a safeguard against Dual Identity or any other nanotech enhanced agents who might go rogue. So that was why Pulse exists, and she's going to battle First Defense. As far as Wayward Sons goes, absolutely, we'd love to do that. There is a super, super, super big secret that I cannot. I'm biting my tongue. Let's just say there is a connection, several connections between Wayward Sons and Dual Identity, and it's gonna blow some minds when that comes out. So yeah, there are connections there, and they will meet. In fact, we gave a huge spoiler that First Defense, the oncoming alien invasion, will eventually lead to a massive company-wide crossover event. Because, you know, you don't as I said yesterday, I always thought it was funny when you'd have like this alien invasion come down and only the Fantastic Four show up. It's like, wait, but you've also got Spidey of the Avengers and all these other guys. So that always used to drive me nuts when you'd have stuff like that. This is a world-changing event. We definitely want to have that. So at the very least, that will occur. So we will see all of these characters end up meeting by then, if not sooner. So absolutely. We do also have. I do want to say, as we're starting to get here, Jenna also is a cover artist, and she's a little shy about it. So for issue 3 was actually her first White Widow, and she did the artwork for the sketch cover. So she did this artwork first. So this was actually her very first cover, which we made into a sketch cover, and that. So this is kind of the first in-universe full appearance of Andromeda, and also happens to be Jenna, who is going to be taking over as the writer. First appearance. We do have some in the store of the medals, as well as the sketch covers. And one of the things I'll show, she does offer sketch variants where she'll do kind of a bust of. She's got kind of 2 styles that she does, both kind of the more realistic like this, as well as my favorite are the chibi kind of cute styles. Kind of. So you can get those. I do not have time to do sketches, so
I've only offered a couple of them because I don't have that much time to do sketches.
And then also there's the Valentine's variants that she did. So we do have these in the store if you're interested. And this was issue 4, so this was the Artemis versus. So bottom line is you can get those. We will be doing. I should also mention issue 3 of Duel Identity. The artwork for interiors will be by Iwan Nazif, who is the artist for the interiors for White Widow. So we'll have a great visual crossover. He gets to kind of redraw the same battle and experience from the opposite direction. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see how he does that, and what angles he chooses, and we'll see some of the pieces that happened in between a bit more. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Duel Identity is a massive hit. It's our 3rd most popular series after White Widow and I Make Boys Cry. So, and I think there's a reason for that. So you will see a lot of back and forth, a lot of tie-in. So if you're a White Widow fan, I highly recommend you pick up Duel Identity. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And we will continue doing that. Did you have any other points you want to bring up?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay. I appreciate you guys. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. I do want to say that we have, speaking of Wayward Sons, we have a panel coming up in just, I believe, a little over an hour for Wayward Sons and Wayward Legends, that we'll be talking about them. And an I Make Boys Cry later today. If you missed any of the broadcasts before, you can find them both in our on Facebook, the White Widow, type /live, and you can view those, or you can scroll down, or if you go to the YouTube channel, you can also find them there. And if you missed any part of this, you can always feel free to scroll back and watch them there. So.
Oh wait, really quick. You weren't really specific. If you do order a sketch, you have to go to the blank cover of this, and then you have the option of selecting you want a sketch. And it's not necessarily White Widow. I'll email you, and you can tell me what character you want from any comic universe.
Right. So. And I should also mention we do have our exclusives. Jenna did an exclusive. I did an exclusive. Some people have been asking about One of the exclusives in there is the Jamie Tyndall
Metal.
medal.
Yeah.
So this is the actual medal that goes on the cover. We only have 15 of these. That's why we only had 15 of
Folios.
those folio sets. So that's it. And she has her connected cover, only 15. So, feel free to check those out. If you guys have
As metallic inks.
As metallic inks, correct. So those are only available in the numbered metallic inks in the folio set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. She's the person hiding behind services at Absolute quite often. So she handles a lot of your customer service as well. And often I handle the White Widow comic at Gmail. So feel free to reach out to us, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. And don't forget to comment, subscribe, like on Facebook, etc. Thank you. Bye.